the best, I guess I said the lobbying job was the most interesting. That's actually not true. The most interesting non-practicing job I had was working as a magistrate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm interested in hearing more about. So can you tell us, oops, there I go, kicking the table. So how did you get the job in the first place? Was it very competitive? Did you have to interview with a lot of people?
No, it wasn't. It's political. So I had been doing the appearing in small claims court, and one of the magistrates who did heard small claims had seen me in there a couple of times and was like, "We're looking for an attorney magistrate." So in North Carolina, to be a magistrate, you do not have to be an attorney. So in Orange County, in particular, they there's a desire to find attorneys because small claims, I mean, it's only one of the things that magistrates do, but hearing small claims cases and making decisions that are, based on the law, I don't even know. It was hard enough as a person who was a practicing attorney and who had many years of different kinds of experience. It was very difficult. It is really hard to hear evidence and make determinations and do it well. So I applied. A magistrate applies to the clerk of court and then is hired by the resident superior court judge and then works for the chief district court judge. So Jamie Stanford was the clerk of court at the time. Carl Fox was the resident superior court judge who hired me. And then I worked for Joe Buckner, who was the chief district court judge.
Mm-hmm. I see. So did you start out doing small claims, or what were your duties?
Oh, I mean, the primary duties of a magistrate are making probable cause determinations for arrests and arrest warrants, issuing search warrants, issuing involuntary commitment orders. And then on top of that, you also have this small claims responsibility. So, and marriages. That was the most fun part, was being able to actually marry people.
Oh,
it was really cool. I would take people, if I could, and on a nice day, take people outside and right in front of the old historic courthouse here in Hillsborough, perform the marriage ceremonies.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, kind of like a hodgepodge of different things. But was it pretty high stress because you had to deal with so many people all the time and people getting mad at you?
I mean, there's no set of circumstances where somebody sees the magistrate, unless they're getting married, where they're not having one of the worst days of their life. So there is a lot of that. Somebody's either under arrest or, you don't see the people who are being committed. You see the people who are committing somebody, which is usually, relatives who have somebody who's having, severe mental health breakdown. And then, small claims, I mean, it's not, you're dealing with people who are unrepresented for the most part. There, some lawyers do some practice, like the people who represent landlords, typically, they are attorneys, but you don't have to be. You can actually be a property manager. So we work 24-hour shifts. So I would only work like 6 24-hour shifts a month. But working a 24-hour shift, I cannot tell you how hard that is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Didn't you say you had to sometimes like sleep in the office or something to be the overnight magistrate or something?
There was a bed in each office, and we all had like a sleeping bag that we would put on top of the bed. And, on your night, you could, in Orange County, they allowed us to go home, like the open hours where you're supposed to be in the office was from basically around 8 o'clock till about 5 o'clock. And then you could go sort of after hours, and then you just have to respond to the office to go back. But I can tell you, so a lot of times I would like go home and have dinner because I had 2 little children at that point. And, but like I could put 1 scoop of food in my mouth and then be called back to the office. So, and certainly if you are in like a deep sleep and somebody calls you and you have to get in the car and drive to work at like 3:30 in the morning. I mean, at a certain point, most of the time, I just prefer to stay there.
I see. Yeah, that's really tough. So, so the nights that you had to spend a night there, then obviously your husband then had to take care of the kids.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
They
Wow.
were his kids too.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, interesting. Okay. Well, so how long did you do the magistrate job?
I did that for 2 years. And, then I worked for another small firm. And then at the beginning of COVID, I was like, now's the time. Like, now's the time to go out on my own. And, I've built on every single one of those positions. And it just means that my law practice, I say I have an eclectic law practice because I do things as broad as representing people in criminal matters. I represent protesters. I represent people in disputes with their builders, and I do this community organizing type movement lawyering. I just have helped people whose relatives have been involuntarily committed. It just means I just have this really kind of interesting ability to do a broad based representation. And so I'm grateful for all of these sort of missteps because I feel like they've kind of brought me to where I am today.
Yeah, that's right. And now you know how to handle a big variety of different types of cases too.
Mhm.
So Tony asked, do civil litigation cases ever have family or friends that pitch in?